was so simple.
Stripped
Of everything. She was wrapped in this sheet, and they took out this sheet, they gave me this sheet, and then they brought her by hand, and everybody participating. And I saw my son wanted to be the one to touch her the last time. And he jumped into the hole, and he grabbed her, and he pulled her down. And I swear to God, I don't think I ever loved him more. I felt like, oh my God,
he's a man, you're saying.
He's a man, and he's putting his sister to lay down, and he doesn't want anybody else to do it. I found it poetic, humans taking care of humans. Do you want to grieve by destroying your life, or you want to grieve by celebrating her life and making the best of yours? There is an inner intelligence that if you allow it, that's what I found for myself, maybe for others it's not the same. If you allow it, it will guide you. There is a great teaching in death because it's as real as birth. It's the other side of birth. We are taught to celebrate birth, obviously,
and not talk about death.
And to completely put the conversation about death under the rug. You just don't mention it. I saw the warmth of the Jordanian people. They really reached out, and they didn't know me. And they really, really reached out.
So Ursula, the process, tell me about the pain. I remember it took time for you to begin to feel it. Maybe they talk about the stages of grief, and there's the shock, and then so the condolences are finished, and then you're in your room, and you're in your house, and life goes back to normal, and the sun is still coming out. And
and now what?
Now what?
And now what?
When
she's still not coming back.
She's not coming back. Did you think she would?
No, of course. Yeah. But it's just because you're in that twilight zone of this is unreal. She might. You have a part of you that is thinking, okay, she's gonna come in now.
So that's the disbelief stage, I guess.
The disbelief, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into her room and she's gonna be there. But, so it's grabbing that reality that it's forever in my lifetime, my daughter is never gonna come back. That's very hard. I think it hit me the hardest on her birthday.
Which was how long after?
She died the 28th of July. Her birthday was the 19th of October.
Okay. 2 months.
It hit me so hard. And I literally felt physical pain. Like I felt it was so painful that I couldn't breathe. And then my heart was literally crumbling into pieces. I felt it falling apart.
Did you want to die?
Physically.
Did you want to die?
I don't know. I don't think so. But I felt as if I was going to die. I felt that's it. Now my heart is going to explode. I literally felt like this is the edge of something huge, much bigger than me, and I can't handle it. And I stopped at the edge and I looked down, and I had to say to myself, no, now you have to step back, because that you cannot handle. So
you closed the door?
I stepped back, and I did not close the door. I had to find a way to get my pain out and living my daily life.
And this is a process of thinking that you were aware of, or is it now looking back, or
it's
at the
now
time?
looking back.
Now looking back. Okay.
But there was some of it at the time as well. In fact, sometimes I freak myself out. I'm like, what? You actually,
Because you're constantly talking to yourself.
Yes, you're constantly talking to yourself. And I realized that I had gotten out a lot of pain, a lot of tears. You have to get it out.
Was it instant? Was there a point where you weren't crying and it wasn't coming out?
No, I cried.
Instant?
I cried. I cried. I cried. I had like muffled screams that wanted to come out, but
Did
they
you let them
couldn't
out?
come all the way. But it's a pain that is huge. It's undescribable. It is true. Why is it every parent's nightmare?
Every
it is-
human's nightmare.
Exactly. Because it is the biggest pain. You're dealing with this, all of a sudden something is there and then it's not. And
No
it's
coming
final.
back, no changing, it's final.
It's final.
So what did you do?
Well, and this I think where every human needs to get creative. For me, I had been practicing yoga 35 years and meditation. So I realized that I would go, at the end of my yoga practice, I do my prayer and my meditation. So it was just as simple as that.
You kept doing the same things you would do every day?
Every day. Well, no, for a while, I didn't want to know anything about spiritual. I was
So there was
pissed
anger.
off.
No, yes, yes.
I didn't care about anything I read, anything, the paradise, God.
Anger.
I don't want any of it. Just give me back my daughter. You know, I don't care. I don't care about the soul. I don't care about the spiritual. I don't care about anything. Just give me back my daughter. But then slowly I had to realize that there was only one way to deal with it. It is a pain of the soul. So you must approach it from the soul point of view. And for me, it was during meditation, during prayer, when every time, of course, I pray for my daughter, pray for my family, and every time I open that door, it's as if I opened a little bit of my heart, let the pain come out, let the tears roll down, talk to her, talk to God, close the door, and go about my life. Because I didn't want to be this Claudia, this teacher, that was going around always with this pain.
But she wasn't letting out.
She wasn't letting out, she wasn't accepting it. And I don't mean to say that that is wrong, because everybody has a different experience. Maybe right now as we're speaking, she solved it. I don't know. Everybody needs their time. But she was a great teacher without knowing for me. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the shadow of myself, because I felt that a great love, like the love that I have and I had for my daughter, cannot be reduced to tears. How sad. And that's a choice you have.
And this is what is powerful about what your experience and about your awareness of your experiences, that you say, I don't want to reduce her 16 years on this life
To tears.
to tears.
Because that's what we do. We cannot even mention the person that we cry. Nobody around us mentions the person because they know you're going to cry. It's
Nobody
okay,
wants to be
cry.
around you because nobody...
You're right. It's okay, cry. It's okay. Tears have never killed anybody. They're very liberating. So what? Let them be. But I do not want to reduce it to tears. It's one thing is crying, and one thing is to make the history of a beautiful soul's lifetime reduced into pain,
Grief.
and grief. And I decided that I want to celebrate her. I have to celebrate her. She was an amazing human being. And I believe she was the most advanced of us from a soul point of view.
Yeah.
She was great. She was amazing. And so my way to celebrate her is to keep loving her, of course, and keep loving life and keep wanting to discover who I am in spite of what happened, you know.
You said you would open the door, let a little bit out, and where are you now?
I would think most of it out somehow, because now when I do the same thing, my yoga, meditation and prayer, which I do every morning after tea and before shower, now it's not pain that comes out. The strangest thing that happened is that there was a transformation. Now it's joy that comes out. When I think about Sophia, I have nothing but gratefulness. All of a sudden, this huge pain for 3 years is beginning to transform into gratefulness, because yes, I would have liked to have her for more time, of course, but at least I had her for 15 years and 3/4. I even asked my son one day when he was extremely sad, and I said, if you could choose, would you have liked to be a lonely child? Because he was the firstborn. You would have never known Sophia, and you would have never known this pain, but also you would have missed out. Think about it. And he thought about it and then said, no, I would take the pain.
I'm grateful for him.
I would take the pain, but I would want to have her. And so I tell him even today, you see, you were so lucky. You could have been a lonely child, but instead you grew up from the age of 3 with a great companion, and they were inseparable. They never even fought, right? So they were amazingly close.
So where is he now, and your husband? Are you all, you know, on
we are all working through all this. I think that he, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he was the one that was hit the hardest, because as grown-ups, we had gone through, of course, not such devastation, but very negative experiences, and we could draw on our pool of toys.
As a wisdom, maybe.
Yes, how to come back up from a great disappointment, from a failure, from something, you know.
Yeah.
So you kind of have some experience, which really does not in any way, but it's still something that we have. While he, being 19 years old, he didn't have that pool of experience. So it was like his first huge disappointment and pain was one of the biggest.
Unbearable.
So, of course, he dealt with it by pretending it's not there.
So he did what everybody else does. Yeah.
In fact, even if I told him, don't go to university, because this happened to him in the moment in which he was supposed to take flight after high school graduation.
Leave home.
Right. I said, don't go to university. You can take time. It's okay. And he said, no. Why?
Okay.
Why? My life goes on. Why? So, in fact, instead of taking 1 major, he took 2 majors.
And he left.
And he left. He went to Spain.
A few months after.
Yes. Of course.
He couldn't do it.
To find out what I knew. Sooner or later, it's going to catch up with you. And when he was alone, without the family and the friends, in this strange place, new place, it hit him. And so after the semester, we took him back. Said, no, you're going to stay with us. You're going to go to therapy, grieve, be with us. And when you're ready, you go. Turned out to be a good thing, because now he's completely changed his mind. While before he had left to university to go and do, I want to make money type of thing. I'm going to be into international business and da-da-da. Now there was a shift in him as well, because now he wants to go and study psychotherapy, psychology, to help
Other
children that have gone through trauma. So he's saying, I want to help myself, and while I'm helping myself, I want to help others. So that was a good shift.
This is like 50
all his
years
path-
condensed in one, like 50, 60, 80, I don't know how many years, 1,000 years, condensed of experience, condensed in the loss of his sister, and wow.
But and that's the other aspect of loss. You don't only lose that child. For a while, I felt like I lost 2.
Of course.
Because he was not himself anymore. He had to go through all his, which is still going.
And you had to be strong for him too. I mean, you had
Yes.
a role, yeah.
Yes.
You had to
And
be-
that's why us as women, I believe we, and I don't mean any disrespect to any man that is strong, but in general, women are the backbone of the family in many aspects. And if you fall apart, sometimes everything falls
The family
apart.
falls apart.
And I believe maybe that's why I forced myself into, okay, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it this way. Almost like a clinical approach when I could handle it. Because I really felt that if I fall apart, then it's not going to help my family.
You know, that's also your lifeline, because that's your day-to-day life, and that's what you have to get out of bed for. Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Having no reason to get out of bed.
So it is it's two aspects. In a way, I didn't want to come to the restaurant and work and be there for my family. I wish I could have dig the hole, go in,
locked yourself up,
and come out whenever I was ready.
Or not come out.
But it would have been a hole of tears and desperation, and let me be in my own pain.
Teacher. Yeah.
So the having responsibilities and having to cope with daily life, you know, it was bad on one side because it didn't allow me to, I had to keep a lot inside. You know, you cannot cry in front of customers and you don't want them to have that experience, right? But in the same time, it gave me strength.
That's also one of the ABCs, Ursula, of dealing with it. They tell you, like, continue your routine. You know, you're going to have to get up and shower, you're going to have to do your practice, you're going to have to go to work, you're going to have to drive a car, get the groceries, cook. You know, those mundane things are, in fact, your lifeline.
They help you.
Yeah.
As much as you resent it from one point of view, it's like, why do I have to do this?
I don't want to do anything.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up. But then it's good that you do.
Yes, and you maintain.